Hello, my name's Tabo. This is how to take a track from a loop to a full arrangement in Ableton. So we're going to start out here looking at what I came up with prior to making this video. I already wrote beginning of a track, so a loop idea here. So this is what we're working with. I've got, you can see a few different clips here that are combining to make a full track. And the first thing that we're going to want to do is get these organized and sort of clear up the extra tracks so that everything is organized and next to each other. Get rid of some of the groups, and so I'm going to ungroup these drums. I'm going to delete this unused tracks that I'm not using right now. I'm going to delete these, don't need these. Going to bring these three over. I'm going to leave my TR-8S tracks. These are set up to record my TR-8S drum machine, which I do have some parts for this that I'm going to record in the arrangement. So now you can see we've got about 11 clips that I'm going to launch using the push. So the push in session mode will show you the clips on the screen. You see this red box is sort of what's visible here on my buttons of the push. The problem is that if you have more than 8 tracks, you're not going to be able to see them all. You'll have to move left to right to navigate, which I don't like doing when I'm arranging. So we'll see how we solve that in a little bit. But you can see how the push works is that when I press a button, it's going to correspond to the clips on the screen. I'm going to be able to launch the clips by pressing the button. So I can bring in different sounds by pressing. Okay. Now, if you don't have a push or another type of MIDI controller that has this grid layout on it that corresponds to Ableton, you can use the scenes inside of Ableton to play with, and we'll cover that later in the video. For now, the kick and the tom and the punchbox sub bass, I can group these. Command G, group tracks. And what we can do is now set up some scenes within this group that I can trigger to have different things happen. So at the top, we'll have all of the sounds together. So what I'm going to do is bring this one down and then duplicate these down. Let's make one that's just the kick without the tom. And let's make one that's just the kick, and then there, and then also we want breakbeat with the sub and with the tom, and then a breakbeat just alone. So now you see that, let me minimize this again and we look on the push, we see we have 6 different options. So I can play all 3 of them together like that. Just the kick. Bunch of different versions of that sound. I have to make one more group to get this synth sound into my window so I can see everything. And so let's group these together. Change one color so that then I can assign tracks to color, just so we can see the difference. Then I'll make one together and one separate. So now we have that one alone, this one alone, and them together. Now we have everything, all the rest here, so we can kind of bring these in. So also I have my TR-8S synced to Ableton via USB and recorded through my Soundcraft. So I have these 2 channels over here set up to record additional hi-hats and snares. So let's delete these two. We won't need them. And ungroup these. We're going to record audio from the TR-8S, simultaneously arranging the track. But I also want to map some parameters of my bass line and my chords to some knobs on this controller so that as I'm recording the arrangement, I can also record some automation and get some expression of the sounds. So this one, I'm using the SEM VST plugin. And I've got a couple parameters down here that I want to map the brightness macro and the time. So I can... Okay, so how I can do that is right here, I'll expand this and then hit configure. And then I can select which macros I want to appear right here. So I have brightness and time. And now I can go into MIDI mapping mode, which is the button up here. For brightness, I'll use this knob. And for time, I'll use this knob. And then back to mode. Now I should be able to control the filter here and the time here. Now let's also do the same for this sound. This one has a lot of expression too. So we'll do the same thing. Configure here and go brightness, time, and timbre. And then I will map these to the next couple knobs. This one, that one, and this one. Now let's hear how that sounds. So I get a softer, longer sound with the time. So now that I'm ready to record, I want to make sure that my arrangement is completely clear and there's no extra clips or anything happening over here. I'm going to double check that my two audio channels are ready to record from the TR-8S, which they are right here. And another thing I like to do is to have my view second window open down here on my laptop so I can sort of remind myself what channels are what right here, and then I can watch the arrangement unfold up here, keep track of time, etc. So now that I'm ready to record, I have my first clips ready to launch, and I'm just going to hit record and give a quick test. So you see our MIDI's being recorded, audio's being recorded here, MIDI should be recorded up here. Yeah, we're good. Let's bring in the bass. Record a little automation. Get it sounding where I want it. Start bringing in the rest of the drums here. Open the filter a little. Now bring in this. TR8 sounds. Okay, we're about 2 minutes in, so let's try to experiment over here a little. And I'm gonna fade it out for the end here. Cool. We'll press pause at the end. All right. And turn off session view here. And we have an arrangement. So we can see the groups. We had different clips launched here for the kicks and then for the snares. What I consider this is now a backbone to a track. So this will by no means be the final version, but at least now instead of a loop, I have a workable arrangement that I can start to work on and listen to back and sort of feel like I actually made a song and not just a loop. And the way I can sort of perform it naturally makes me more excited about it and come out with different ideas. And, you know, one thing you can do at this point is, you know, if you don't like it, you can just delete everything and start again. Or sometimes what I'll do is just move over a little bit in my arrangement, you know, like come over here and start recording again right here and do a second take. That can be really useful. If you don't have the Ableton push, you can record using scenes like I did here in the groups, but you can set up different scenes by, you know, sort of duplicating a bunch of clips and then just deleting the ones that you want present in the different scenes. And then you can just record by navigating through different scenes by clicking over here. can make a little breakdown scene and then switch around. And you can still have the automations recording that same way. So, this concept of sort of performing your arrangement is not limited to having an Ableton push or similar MIDI. You can set up scenes and do it that way. Yeah, so now that it's arranged, we can also see that on our bass and synth that we have some automation recorded that I can also go in and edit or clear or redo just the automation. Once we press play on this track, we're going to hear what happened right there where I recorded the filter up and down. So if I like part of that I recorded, I can duplicate it. Again, this is just a backbone at this point, just still a sketch, but it gets you one step closer to completing your tracks. So hope this method works for you and you can apply it in your own practice. If you're interested in learning more, working with me one-on-one, I do offer private coaching or sessions here in my studio. So you can find more information about that on my website. And if you made it this far, give me a subscribe, like the video, and I'll see you next time. Peace.